Hello internet comrades, it's me, Slavic the E-Man here, and grab your vodka and load your AKs, cause we just got news to be angry about. Also, my ancestry is Russian-Polish, so it's only mostly racist when I do this. Okay, so big news. After tonight, you will no longer be able to buy Metro Exodus on the Steam store, and everyone's upset about it, including me, I guess. I mean, I was mad enough to put on a hat and find a bottle of vodka, so... Metro publisher Deep Silver has officially announced that as of now, Metro Exodus will exclusively be available for purchase via the Epic Games Store. Now, Metro Exodus is by no means the first game to announce itself as exclusive to the Epic Games Store. There's been a few games to do that recently, including Tom Clancy's The Division 2. And while there's been some grumblings about those games, it's been mostly chill. There are a few things that are different about Metro Exodus's case, and those few things are why people are so upset. The first one is the fact that the game has already had an astronomically long pre-order period on the Steam store itself. Heck, it's been on my wish list since June of 2017. That's over a year and a half ago. Another factor is that the game's release date is only little more than 2 weeks away on February 15th. This means that there's been a year and a half of pre-order time, and then 2 weeks before release, the company decides to switch platforms entirely. Now, the only saving grace here is that if you've already pre-ordered the game at any point during the last year and a half, your pre-order will be honored. You will receive a Steam copy of the game and have access to any updates and DLC that will be released for the game in the future. Honestly, I think that's the most damage control they could do. If they didn't do that at all, or just gave people refunds, I think they'd be even angrier than they already are. For those of you that don't know what Metro Exodus is, well, then why'd you click on the video, man? Why would you do that? It's the soon-to-be-released third game in the long-running Metro series. The Metro games are first-person shooter survival horror games that take place in the bombed-out Metro tunnels of a post-apocalyptic Moscow. Now, I'm personally a huge fan of the original two Metro games, those being Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Now, not a big enough fan to go and read the original Russian book series the games are based off of, but still a pretty big fanboy nonetheless, and a pretty big fanboy that's been looking forward to Metro Exodus for quite some time at this point. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at what the Metro games are, let's look at the announcement regarding Metro Exodus's platform shift. So this is the tweet by the official Metro Exodus Twitter handle. Important announcement! We're partnering with Epic to bring Metro Exodus to the Epic Store. This partnership will allow Deep Silver to invest in the future of the Metro series and the development team at 4A Games. Read the full story and the FAQ. Alright, so let's just take a look at that and balls. So this webpage tells us that Epic Games and Deep Silver are now partners, that the February 15th release date still stands, it gives us the North American and European prices, the Epic CEO tells us what a great game Metro is, the Metro CEO tells us what a great platform Epic is, it confirms that any customer that's already pre-ordered on another platform still gets their pre-order, and that's about it. One other interesting thing is that this also says that the Redux versions of Metro 2033 and Last Light will be coming to the Epic Games Store later this year. So I wonder if they're going to pull the current versions off of Steam, or if they'll be available on both platforms. I already own them on Steam, so I'm not super worried about that, but, you know, if you don't own those already, maybe you should jump on that now. I'm not going to go over the FAQ section, because this kind of looks like a repeat of most of the information we've already gone over. So let's go back to Twitter. So that was the official important announcement. Then they also said, as part of this partnership, the digital PC version of Metro Exodus will now be available to purchase solely through the Epic Games Store. All existing Steam purchases will be honored. That is a point they are really driving home here, because they don't want you to sharpen the pitchforks too much if you've already bought it on Steam. So you can see the replies here are not super favorable. I mean, boo. Everyone's doing the facepalm. Do you want people to pirate your game? Because this is how you get people to pirate your game. Yeah, so people are not happy about report an issue. Yeah, people are not happy, to say the least. Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke? That's a good meme. That's a good meme right there. Now, if we hop over onto Steam, you can see that Metro Exodus has been the top of my wish list since June 22nd, 2017, and it's still labeled as coming soon on the 15th of February, 2019. Now, if we click on the game itself, we can see that Steam has a little notice down here. Later today, sales of Metro Exodus will be discontinued on Steam due to a publisher decision to make the game exclusive to another PC store. So they don't call Epic out by name, just another PC store. The developer and publisher have assured us that all prior sales of the game on Steam will be fulfilled on Steam, and Steam owners will be able to access the game and any future updates or DLC through Steam. So they're just repeating what what's already been said on Twitter down here. And then this last bit here is the interesting part. We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everyone know. So Steam has gone out and officially said that they think this whole thing is unfair, which is quite a strong standpoint for them to take, but I kind of respect that. And it still says it's available the 15th of February 2019, but like an hour ago, there was still the option to buy the game. You could click, and it was still $66 and some odd cents Canadian, but that button's now gone. So I think it's officially run out of time. I think it is now officially no longer available. So that sucks. But what is the reason for this out-of-nowhere surprise change in distribution platforms? Well, there are two big factors that are the most likely reasons for it. Now, the first, and in my opinion most obvious reason for the switch, is that the Epic Store only takes a 12% cut off of the developer's profits versus Steam's 30% cut. A larger profit margin is a pretty good reason to switch distributors, and I think this is supported by the fact that the game will be listed on the Epic Store as $50 American versus the $60 American or 66 and some odd cents Canadian it was on the Steam Store. Also, the fact that they've switched the price and made it cheaper for anyone that buys it on the Epic Store is another reason why anyone that's already bought it on Steam is a little bit peeved. And having paid more for the exact same game, I would be peeved too. The second, and more speculative reason in my opinion, is that Deep Silver wanted to publish their game on a marketplace that doesn't allow for user reviews, so as to avoid stuff like first-day review bombing and the like. I think it's possible this option played some part in it, but I think the profit margin is most likely the larger factor here. In the end, it's probably a mixture of both reasons more than anything. Now, as someone that has no interest in supporting the Epic Store or having yet another arbitrary launcher on my computer, I would be a lot more upset about this if it wasn't for the one last point I'm going to bring up. Now, apparently, Metro Exodus will return to Steam after 1 year in February of 2020. As someone that very rarely buys a game right at release anyway and usually waits for it to be cheaper, this kind of works in my favor because I was going to wait for it anyway. So this 1 year gap isn't a huge hindrance, but for the vast majority of people that buy games or for the ones that pre-order during that year and a half, I can understand this being an absolutely infuriating update to a game that you've been so looking forward to. So yeah, overall the situation kind of sucks. I give the game a 3 out of 10, don't buy it. Well, I can take deep-throating a vodka bottle off the to-do list.